former Emperor of France and military leader Napoleon Bonaparte conquered much of Europe until he was eventually captured. He was exiled to the island called Elba off the coast of Italy, where he was to spend the rest of his life in misery. The leaders of Europe knew how crafty this once great leader was, and so had the island surrounded by British Navy ships, and their cannons covered all possible exits. Yet, despite all of that, he was able to slip past the Navy in broad daylight on a ship of 900 men. He then came straight back to France, where he quickly regained his power as he was welcomed with open arms. Once the honeymoon phase was over, however, the country went bankrupt and Napoleon was defeated for good. His enemies learned their lesson this time and banished him to St. Helena, a barren island off the coast of West Africa. There, he had no more hope of escape. Years later, the facts of Napoleon's great escape came to light. He was tipped off by his courtiers that if he were to escape, his country would welcome him back. They missed their great leader. He was also told the British Navy would let him slip past. It might have seemed he just had great connections on the inside. However, in reality, there was one man pulling all the strings, his former minister named Talleyrand, who turned against him. Talleyrand feared that even the possibility of Napoleon returning would cause instability in Europe. So, instead of pleading to the European leaders to exile Napoleon to somewhere farther away, he devised a plan where Napoleon would return to what he knew was a France on the verge of a Great Depression, so Napoleon could be destroyed once and for all. What he used to crush Napoleon was the 8th law of power. Make others come to you. Use bait if necessary. When you force the other person to act, you are the one in control. It is always better to make your opponent come to you, abandoning his own plans in the process. Lure him with fabulous gains, then attack. You hold all the cards. Talleyrand lured Napoleon to his own doom with what he wanted the most, to regain the glory he had in France. Keep this in mind. The essence of power is to keep the initiative. When you make others come to you, you control the situation and force them to react to you. This is great when it comes to negotiation. By baiting others into asking you to come to the table first, you control the terms, because in their perception, they need you. This happened recently with the Iran negotiation treaty. Basically, the US made sanctions against Iran, making it economically impossible for Iran to survive in the long term. And because of this, Iran came to the negotiation table, where America and its allies held all the cards. This is how they were able to make sure a country like Iran couldn't get a hold of nuclear weapons. It was a great employment of the 8th law of power. Good warriors make others come to them and do not go to others. This is the principle of emptiness and fullness of others and self. When you induce opponents to come to you, then their force is always empty. As long as you do not go to them, your force is always full. Attacking emptiness with fullness is like throwing stones on eggs. This has been another weekly review on the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, released every Sunday. Please like the video if you enjoyed it and found it useful, comment your opinions on this week's law, and subscribe so you can catch all the awesome content I cover. And remember, I'm the self-made nerd, here to talk nerdy to you.